Go call the cops like, dude, this dude is tripping.
Welcome to That's Good Sports. I'm Brandon Perna, and the 2022-2023 NFL season is over. Chiefs fans can celebrate all offseason, but for everyone else, we start pretending like last year never happened. And we tell ourselves this is our year. Derek Carr has been released by the Raiders today, and I will tell you why the Panthers, not the Saints, are his best fit. Which is pretty fitting that Josh McDaniels will cut a franchise QB on Valentine's Day. A day that's supposed to symbolize love, used by Josh McDaniels to move on, as he is incapable of experiencing love or any emotion other than the belief that he is always the smartest guy in the room. That said, it's still far from the worst cut in the Raiders organization. Now the Colts pull the trigger, hire Eagles offensive coordinator Shane Steichen, or
Corner Shane Steichen,
according to some, as their new head coach. And the Cardinals ink a deal with Eagles defensive coordinator, making Philly the biggest Super Bowl losers in NFL history. Let's break it all down here on my dumb show. That's good show. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I know it's the off season, but I need your attention more than ever. Today's episode is sponsored by SeatGeek. SeatGeek has been downloaded over 28 million times. That's a lot, unless we're talking about the annual salary for a franchise QB. Just because a lot of people download something, though, doesn't make it good. Well, SeatGeek is also the #1 rated ticketing app, which is incredible when you have that many people using the app. My wife Jess actually wants to go sit courtside at a Nuggets game, so I'll be looking into that soon. And I may get my writing partner Will Keys out here for a Nuggets Kings game in April, and SeatGeek is the only way I will get my tickets. The green dots in the app let you know when a ticket is a good deal, plus every ticket is backed by SeatGeek's buyer guarantee, and it's the only site that lets you return your tickets ahead of the event with swaps. SeatGeek really has thought about all the small things. Wait, oh yeah, Blink-182. We'll be on tour, so use my code THATSGOOD, which will get you $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Rex Ryan may be trying to get his foot in the door in Denver. The Broncos have talked to Rex Ryan about becoming the team's next defensive coordinator. Sexy Rexy is considered a long shot, considering open-toe shoe season in Denver is rather short. And while he has a great track record as a defensive coordinator, I personally don't want the dude who spent an entire season on television talking shit about Russell Wilson in the building.
I think they're terrible. They scored 11 points. Brady, they scored 11 points.
Does that limit the Broncos coaching search? Yes. Everyone on television talked mad shit about Russ because it's good for business. Luckily, we're not the Colts. Now, Sean Payton is expected to announce the coaching staff later this week, and I think Seahawks associate head coach coach.The is the front runner to land the defensive coordinator position. At least I hope he is. And Sean Payton did make a very public pitch to former NFL tight end Rob Gronkowski to join the team before the Super Bowl. He even offered to call the team the Broncos.
I mean, we put the G instead of the B, and I'm working on changing our name to the Denver Broncos.
Which I actually support until the Broncos beat the Chiefs and make this retroactive to 2015. That way the Chiefs will have won 15 straight against the Broncos, not the Broncos. Who the fuck are the Broncos? That's what I'll tell you, Chiefs fans. What I want to remind everyone, though, that was a sketch, a comedic bit, a joke. Was it funny? Not really.
Might be able to talk to the Walton Penner family about calling us the Denver Broncos.
Guys, we need your pick. Hurry up.
Hey, I'm picking the Broncos. No.
But please stop asking me if Gronk is really coming to the Broncos. The answer is clearly yes. All right, Shane Steichen, known Dak Shepard lookalike, has been hired as the Indianapolis Colts head coach. This is great news for Colts fans who no longer have to wonder if their next head coach would be Dr. Phil, Ellen, or Jimmy Fallon. who definitely strikes me as a player's coach. Whatever TV personality Jim Irsay fell in love with and decided on a whim to hire. Instead, they get a coach who looks like an actor whose all-time best line is,
"Go away, Baton." Damn it.
Shane Steichen was the Eagles' offensive coordinator, who I was hoping the Broncos were considering during their head coaching search. He did an amazing job with the Eagles' offense this last season and developing Jalen Hurts over the last 2 seasons. Steichen was also the Chargers' offensive coordinator Justin Herbert's rookie season when Herbert set the rookie passing record for touchdown passes at 31, completions at 396, and the second most passing yards at 4,336, and he was interim OC in 2019 after the team fired Ken Wisenhunt. After saying all that, I'm kind of baffled that it took him this long to become a head coach. All this is to say, though, he has a great track record developing young quarterbacks, which makes him a terrible fit for the Colts, who love aging and washed QBs almost exclusively. How will Steichen perform as a head coach? Who the hell knows? The Colts, though, need a lot of work, including finding a quarterback. If they are able to trade up in the draft with the Bears to say the number 1 spot and take Bryce Young, then I love his chance to develop with Steichen calling the shots. Of course, it's just as likely that the Colts try to put the ghost of Johnny Unitas under center. Now, this does, in my opinion, make the Colts all in on drafting their next quarterback. They can simply stay put at spot number 4 and draft, say, Will Levis or CJ Stroud, whoever falls to them there. I think either QB with Steichen has a great chance at becoming the best version of an NFL quarterback they can be. When a team names an OC as a head coach, what I think is of value is their track record developing quarterbacks over play calling. Both are important, but sometimes it feels like we on the outside looking in place higher value on play calling than development. And if the Colts get a young guy, this is the right move. So the Cardinals have named Eagles defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon as their next head coach. Philly is losing coaches faster than The Last of Us is losing characters. The real winner here is the Cincinnati Bengals, who get to keep the most underrated defensive coordinator in Lou Armadillo on staff, who is considered by the Cards for the gig. Now, Gannon helped mold the Eagles defense into a top 10 unit in 2021 and a top 3 unit in 2022. The Eagles become the first team to lose both of their coordinators after a Super Bowl appearance in like 30 years or something. Gannon is certainly taking the most unique job in this head coaching cycle. The Cardinals will be without quarterback Kyler Murray for most of, if not all of the season. Smartly, Gannon jumps into a role where the expectations are the lowest, based mostly on Kyler's injury. Now, D'Amico Ryans got all of the love this coaching cycle for the young coaching candidates, but NFL personnel dudes fucking love Gannon. He may very well be the gem of this coaching round. Also, he is a giant liar.
Might be your last one here, because you might get the call.
No, Philly's keeping me. We're good, bad, or indifferent. I'm staying here.
A lot of people are going to blame Gannon for the Eagles' defense getting 0 sacks and effectively losing that game in the final minute, but it's important to remember the Chiefs scored on a fumble and a long punt return to set up one of those 2 Chiefs touchdowns in the second half. Gannon's also not responsible for the field conditions slowing down his speed rushers on the edge, which was definitely a factor when you re-watch the game. If the NFL really wants to protect quarterbacks, by the way, they will make all fields slippery. KY Jelly to become the biggest company on earth. Mark my words.
No contraception.
Now, the Eagles, after losing the Super Bowl, are now preparing to stop the hemorrhaging after going all in for the Super Bowl this year. Then they have to figure out which free agents they want to bring back while being about $1 million over the cap. The list of impending free agents for Philly is longer than the number of Chiefs fans who are now suddenly experts on NFL officiating. But if anybody can figure it out, it is Howie Roseman. All right, Derek Carr. He became a free agent today. Carr flexed on the Raiders, telling them he was not willing to accept a trade to the Saints or any other team. Carr not allowing the Raiders to net any picks is honestly the kind of move that would make Al Davis smile. Right before he then hired a bounty hunter to track down Derek Carr's family and threaten them. So the Raiders, to avoid paying Carr his fully $40 million guaranteed, released him today. Carr is getting a full release by the small, cold hands of Mark Davis. Why would Derek Carr do this, besides spite and forcing Mark Davis to give him a full release? Well, because Carr has an advantage over all other players heading into free agency. He's also aiding whichever team he joins, keeping them from having to give up draft capital in a trade. And he can make his contract work to their favor, which was an issue for the Saints. But Carr can sign with any team now. He does not have to wait for free agency to start, which means he can capitalize on not having any competition in the market. Teams like the Panthers, Saints, Colts, and Jets can pursue him without giving up their draft picks. Carr spent a couple days with the Saints over Super Bowl weekend, and maybe they still have the edge, but I think the Panthers are the best fit for Carr with Frank Reich at the helm. Ian Rappaport tweeted, Carr is in no rush to sign with the team, and that the Saints are still in the mix. Carr, like any newly freed man, will see what's out there before signing up for another long and brutal marriage. Happy marriage here on Valentine's Day. But why do I like the Panthers for Derek Carr? Well, Carolina has the 9th overall draft pick, so they can add an impact player and impact players in the draft right away and could shoot to the top of the most winnable division in football. Carr, in one of his worst seasons last year, still had 8 more passing touchdowns than all of Carolina's hodgepodge quarterbacks combined. And Carr didn't play the final 2 weeks of the season. He's a clear upgrade, and the chances of drafting your new QB at 9 in this draft, I think, are slim for the Panthers. And much like the Raiders, Carolina's black uniforms complement Carr's beautiful, sexy, dark mascara-tinted eyes. It's a perfect match. One NFL exec said this would be the most fuckable Derek Carr has looked in years. It's not just that, though, okay? The Panthers coaching staff is sexy. They hired Broncos defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero, who was phenomenal last year, and interviewed for the Broncos head coaching job. Ironically, one of the only quarterbacks he couldn't slow down was Derek Carr. Carolina just added Jim Caldwell as senior assistant. They have Josh McCown on as their QB coach, making this one of the most mild-mannered, soft-spoken group of blokes in the league. A dream scenario for Derek Carr. Going from this, and this, and this, and this, to this?
That Christ is all. He's all I need. This is my earnest plea.
I want better fucking execution.
It's the perfect fit for Carr, and I don't think it's really close. Rich Bisaccia gets a ton of credit for keeping the Raiders together during that insane and tragic season in 2021, but I think Carr kind of gets forgotten in terms of navigating that tsunami-level choppy water and getting the Raiders into the postseason. Plus, Derek Carr and Frank Reich could tag team their mega church services as they try to cure the world of sin. A much easier task starting in Carolina compared to Sin City.
Saying, Jesus, please show up for them.
That's the gospel. Christ plus.
Now, the only question here is, are the Panthers actually interested in Derek Carr? I think we'll find out over the next 2 weeks. Or, knowing my luck, Derek Carr will sign with the Saints about 20 minutes after this episode is uploaded. At this point, though, I am hoping the Raiders land Aaron Rodgers. I am excited for the Chargers to extend Justin Herbert to a massive contract extension, okay? And I am hopeful Sean Payton gets the best out of Russell Wilson. Raiders Nation, Chargers coasters, we have to unite. We need to be open source fan bases so we can come together and stop these fucking terrorists who refuse to allow us to have any semblance of joy in the AFC West. It is time for us to unite, Raiders and Chargers fans. The time is now. So join me as we dismantle this empire. Thanks for watching That's Good Sports. Please subscribe here on YouTube. I might just go ahead and make an XFL Power Rankings episode, even though we don't know jack shit about the XFL teams. The XFL does start Sunday, and yes, we'll have a best and worst coming up Monday.